Hi there everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the Inaccuracies of Jurassic Park. Today, we're going to be talking about super crazy huge plot holes in each movie. 5 different ones in 5 different movies. We're going to start with Jurassic Park. Now, Jurassic Park was released in 1993. It was directed by Steven Spielberg, based on a book by Michael Crichton of the same name. And when I was a kid, I loved it. I've watched it hundreds of times. But there's one thing wrong with it. There's a scene, you might remember it, where the Tyrannosaurus Rex breaks out of its paddock after the electricity has gone out and it's raining and all that such. And then the next thing you know, when it pushes the Jeep and everything, and everyone's hanging over the side of the cliff, and then it falls down into the tree. Yeah, it falls 100 feet down into the tree. Where did that cliff come from? Because just moments earlier, you saw a Tyrannosaurus step out of a jungle from that fence. Where did that 100-foot drop come from? Where was the entire forest? Now, I've watched loads of videos on this specific thing, and no one can really seem to explain it. There's one person that says that there's a 100-foot, trench, and that the Tyrannosaurus just jumps over it, and that they just go into the trench. But that doesn't make any sense, because they're in a jungle for a good while. They don't climb back up a 100-foot trench, and then that's where all the brachiosaurs are and whatnot. That's an entirely different place. I saw another video that said, by the way that the Tyrannosaurus pushes the car, it eventually makes its way to a different side where there is a 100-foot drop. I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, why is that right next to an enclosure, and why don't we see any evidence of it? I don't really know what to tell you. Now, the next movie we're talking about is The Lost World Jurassic Park, released in 1996. There's a scene in that movie that leads up to the big climax in San Diego, which, by the way, I lived in San Diego for a year, and they're still pretty salty about that. They really don't like Jurassic Park down there. Everyone always, hated on me for liking Jurassic Park. But anyways, like I was saying, so this boat carrying the big T-Rex and the baby T-Rex to the new San Diego location of Jurassic Park is coming into port. And everyone's like, oh no, it's not slowing down. And then it comes in and it just crashes into the dock and whatnot. And when everyone goes onto the boat, everybody's dead. There's body parts laying all over the place. Right? How did the T-Rex get out and eat everybody, and everything was undamaged and everything went okay, and somehow was managed to get into the cargo hold and not die? I don't understand. Well, in the book The Lost World, where velociraptors get on the boat, this safety boat or whatever, and eats everyone, or I think, yeah, it was going to be transported to the mainland, and the velociraptors got on. Then they turned the boat around somehow, or something like that. I think that was going to be a scene in the movie where the velociraptors are on the boat and they eat everyone, and that's why the boat crashes. And then if that's the case, then why are there no velociraptors? It doesn't really make much sense, and there's no explaining it. Next up is Jurassic Park 3. In the film's opening, there are the 2 people who's paragliding near Isla Sorna. The one kid, what is it? I don't remember his name. And then the other guy, Ben! There's a boat that, they're tethered to. The boat's sailing along and whatnot. And, they go through a patch of clouds, and then all of a sudden, everybody's on the boat is dead. How did those people die? What happened? Everyone just accepts, oh yeah, dinosaurs got it. But what got them? They were out quite a ways away from the island still. Some people think it was pteranodons, but the cage hadn't been opened at that point, so it couldn't have been. Some people think it was a Spinosaurus, which I guess makes sense, but why would the boat still be running if that was the case? Some people think it could have been a plesiosaur, or it could have been I don't know, any other number of aquatic dinosaurs, but at the same time, nobody ever explains it, nobody ever questions it. So that's one big, massive plot hole that starts the entire movie. Now, when I was looking up stuff for Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I couldn't really find any amazingly huge, glaring plot holes like the first three films. So, you could say Claire's character running around in heels the entire movie would be a plot hole. Or those kids starting up the Jeep that had been sitting there for 20 years would be a plot hole. But the main thing that I think would certify as the biggest plot hole in the movie was the structural integrity of the actual park itself. Why didn't they just call to check on the location of the Indominus Rex before they went into the cage? Why did she have to get into her car and drive off and then call on the way? Like, why not just call there? Because they could figure it out like that, and then they'd be like, oh, well, it's still in there, that's cool. I mean, like, I get that, that's human error, whatever. But the third thing, why don't they have, like, bunkers or something? The first Jurassic Park, they had bunkers set. And you'd think, after 3 different incidents, technically 4 different incidents, they would have that in place, these bunkers to go to house hundreds of thousands of people in the inevitability that one of these things might get out. But rather than having everyone just kind of sit out in the main street and in the hotels and whatnot, like, don't you think that that would be a better thing to do? The same goes for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I couldn't really find many plot holes in there that would be as glaring as the other Jurassic Park films. No, the plot hole that I think is the biggest one is the volcano. Now, the volcano itself, from what I read, is pretty accurate to the way a volcano would erupt, but in terms of how it interacts with the characters, not so much. The big scene where they're running down, the volcano is erupting, and they're running down the field, and all the dinosaurs are running in the gyrosphere, and blah blah blah, and all that stuff, and then the big cloud of smoke comes. Now, from what I read, inside that smoke, it's like 1,000 degrees in there. So once, you know, Chris Pratt's character got sucked up in that's it. There's no like jumping off of a cliff and then swimming. No. Nope. Anyways, that's everything I have for you today. If you like this video, like and subscribe, or don't, I don't care. If you have anything to say down in the comments below. If you want to go to my previous video about 5 dinosaur inconsistencies, go right here to this little title card. Yeah, stay tuned for other things. I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, there it is.
So many planes. You don't realize how many planes are out until you're filming something outside. There it is. Oh my god. Is there another one?